All right, three, two, one. We're live. Excuse me. Today is October 18th. It's 8:33 a.m. Getting a real late start. This is the first live broadcast where I'm including people from the live chat, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure what to expect. I put in the description for this broadcast some of the stuff that I was going to be talking about, and I am going to be talking about some stuff. Let's see. Let me even get this thing rolled around here. I did some things on audio, and what I found out was I had some settings that were a little suboptimal. And so I want to talk a little bit about what happened and the technology for getting your audio right. I'm not exactly a good example. I'm probably an example of what not to do. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what I did, but I had things screwed up. And I'm going to show you a little bit about what you can do in YouTube. And YouTube actually works a little bit better with OBS than things like Discord and TeamSpeak, Zoom, whatever other different methods you have to feed your video camera into a video call. I've been using Discord since December. I'm pretty adept at the usage of Discord at this point. And I've been using Periscope for a while too, and it had some similar issues that they really, they engineered some stuff in there to try to make it so that, frankly, I think that there would be less support issues and make it simpler for the average user and just less capable for the expert user until they tweak it around or come up with additional software to augment it. So the additional software, and let me just go ahead and pull this up. Let me bring up a web browser real quick. Apologies, I just want to bring in it's going to take just a second to get this set up real quick and get my window name right. Okay. So we've got a Google window here. Let me, let's see, what are we going to look at? I put that. Do. Down. There we go. Let's see if we can turn that off now. Oops. Whatever, dude. Turn all this stuff off. I'm screwing up this live broadcast big time, so let me just try and get this right. We're going to look at, though, this software cable for OBS, okay? And this virtual audio cable is what we're going to look at. And I apologize for the delays, guys. I'm getting better. But there is a virtual cable app. And, what is it? How to use virtual cable with OBS, okay? Now, there's other videos that talk about this, obviously, but VB Cable is the name of this software. Now, I do not use this, okay? This VB Cable is nothing other than a physical cable in software form. I plug one of my outputs to one of my inputs, and it's in hardware. It's the same thing. But this software, a lot of people do use it to basically create a virtual microphone that you can point Discord to that has the content on it, so you could create a custom mix using your OBS audio controls and send it out to this virtual microphone, and then all your audio that comes out of OBS gets presented to Discord or whatever application through this VB audio. Now, I wanted to point this to you guys so you understand at least that I know what this is. I've installed it, I've used it, I understand how it works. Sometimes it glitches out, sometimes it has cracks and pops. Depends on how overpowered your system is, whether or not Visual Basic is a solution on your computer setup. But I'm a programmer. I'm not going to use Visual Basic for something that's a, device driver. I looked at programming this myself, and you have to do device driver programming. You got to have a target computer and a source computer. And I was looking at that yesterday too. How do you get this done in a real man's programming language, like, C++, And so, I mean, I could re-implement this in C++ and perhaps get better performance. However, for me, the cable part is just connecting an output to an input. So nobody, in my opinion, needs to use this cable software. Everybody, in my opinion, should just use a physical cable. And if you're using VB Audio, buy a Dollar Tree cable, and it's probably a better solution. Just making a point here. That's probably why he gives it away, because you could solve the problem with a physical cable from the Dollar Tree. Literally, you can take an aux cable from the Dollar Tree and plug your line in and your line out together. That's what VB Audio does, assuming you don't have some other way to do that with a line out and a line in that's not used for some other purpose. If you got an extra line out, an extra line in, you don't need VB cable in software. You got it in hardware, which is superior. So hopefully that doesn't belabor the point. The one functional improvement you have with VB Audio is that there's no loss. It's all digital, okay? So assuming there's no software glitches, it won't pop, it won't insert noise. But if you get all the data there, it's there perfectly. Whereas if you use a cable, there's a little bit of noise, nobody's going to notice in general. Especially if you got a balanced XLR cable, or if you have a balanced 1/4 inch cable. Digital versus analog doesn't make as big of a difference if you're using a balanced professional audio quality cable. But I just want to go over this as many times as possible, because I do not recommend in general VB Audio for the cable. I recommend the cable for the cable. Then there's other software. Long term, again, like I said, I'm a programmer though. I'm not going to rewrite a device driver where there should be a cable. I'm going to tell you, use a cable, but I could write some other software that, you know, is more suitable maybe. And we can talk about that later. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do it. But I'm looking into these issues. So let me go into full screen and talk about what I ran into specifically, okay? Because this is kind of interesting. But if you go in here and you look at your audio options, and I'm going to, I don't know if, how do we do that? I think we can zoom in. Anyway, I need to learn how to zoom into, I've seen other people do it, but I'm going to go in here into properties, okay, and in the properties, I've selected Orange Mic here, which is just a name I've given to this microphone. But what I did before is called filters. Now, I had done this and forgotten about it, but these things, you know, you can turn them on and off. But this compressor filter, I was just playing around with it, and I had the defaults, okay, so if I set the defaults here, and this default, in essence, caused the volume level to be reduced. So I'm going to turn on the compressor, and you can probably see the effect on the audio levels down there. Turn the compressor off. Now I can hit louder volume levels with the compressor off, turn the compressor on, and the same louder volume levels are softer. So the compressor does things to try and keep it from going into the red zone in this case. But what I found is that the default settings were not sufficient for good YouTube audio quality, and I didn't realize this was even on. So I had to go in here and turn this thing off. And without even realizing or remembering that this filters thing was here, all my YouTube audio that was going through this to get to my, you know, live stream here, when I click on start streaming, it's taking all of the mix from this and sending it to YouTube. But this part right here, that filter, just like me, that filter was having an effect, and my YouTube audio was suffering. So all I had to do was just turn that off. But you can use this filter too if you're not getting a loud enough volume. The compressor, that's what it does, is that it kind of normalizes the audio volume levels. But I found that, you know, for my needs right now, I'm just not really even using that. But in any case, I wanted to share it with you guys, any of you guys that might be having troubles with your audio on YouTube like I was. And I'm also kind of admitting, like, wow, I was dicking around, put in a compressor. Next thing you know, my audio levels were too low, and I didn't know that that compressor was a filter on there. There's no thing that says, hey, there's a compressor filter on your Orange Mic. There's no icon that says compressor active. And so as a result, I had no idea that thing was back there, reducing my audio levels. So I wanted to tell you guys about it. And that's really the point of this video. Hey, guess what? You know, if you're using OBS, you might have a filter active that you set up without realizing you set it up, and now it's affecting all your audio, because everything I recorded to disk, everything I uploaded to YouTube has had this compressor on it, which is, it's maybe reliably prevented clipping from occurring, perhaps. I don't know. But probably not. It probably just managed the volume level. So the volume levels are more consistent. Didn't solve any technical issues with clipping at all because it's a digital filter, right? Because it's a digital filter, it doesn't work like a real compressor. It's an approximation to a compressor. It doesn't solve clipping issues that a real compressor might solve. So I don't know. Today was just maybe a little bit more of a technical slant on a live broadcast. And I also did intend to kind of have my Discord up here that if somebody wanted to come in and talk, anybody would have been able to come into the pacmain.com URL and talk on my live on YouTube. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't announce to anybody I was going to do this, but in the future I will be able to do this. There's a 1 minute delay on this broadcast, so if somebody were to come in and misbehave, then I'd be obligated to end the stream before it got to that level. So I kind of have a kind of board or mute or whatever. I don't know. I'll have to get more practice at, muting and video muting and whatever I have to do to continue to broadcast if someone comes into my Discord server intending to violate YouTube terms of service in a rogue effort. I don't have a lot of people on my Discord server, so I'm not worried about it right now. Oh, look at that. Howdy.
Hello,
SBZ.
guys. My name is SBZ. Hello, YouTube. Mom, I am on the TV. Mom, hello.
That's so cool, dude. You're my first Discord call-in on a YouTube live. So, yeah, SBZ, I was talking with this guy about doing a feature just like this where we could have terms on Discord that allow people to go live on YouTube. And it's really cool to have you here as my first live broadcaster. First live Discord conversation, SBZ. SBZ, let me introduce you, is from Dubai. And he's a friend of mine. I've known him for about 1.5 years now. And a real close friend. And very knowledgeable at Discord. He's probably the most knowledgeable friend I know about setting up Discord servers. So he's a real good friend that can answer just about any question about Discord servers technical stuff. He's got the me bots and all that stuff. But thanks for showing... Thanks for joining the broadcast, SBZ. I appreciate your interest to
you're welcome.
Make your way over here on your own. It's very much appreciated, sir. And why don't you tell us something about Dubai? Nobody knows you. Why don't you tell us about yourself, man?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Come to Dubai. You're gonna get free hotel. You're gonna... I swear, guys, the first time come to Dubai, free hotel. I swear. Wallah. No joke.
Wow, so this is Dubai's welcoming culture. The first time I ever heard of Dubai, they were like, "We love you, USA. Come to Dubai," and telling us that that's their culture. If you want to come, I'll get your hotel for you. That's a pretty cool culture, man. But yeah, he says he's serious, man. This is Dubai culture, and your culture is very welcome here on my channel, SBZ. As always, your open arm welcoming culture is something that I think is really awesome. I come from Texas, and Texas has a real welcoming culture, a friendly type of attitude. When you meet people in the general public, everybody is friendly and greeting and very open arms. And that's kind of how I imagine Dubai. I've never been there, but I imagine everybody is very happy to see you, very polite, very kind, and extending their gratitude for just even having a chance to talk to you. People are really grateful over there.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome, Pikman, of here.
Yeah, I've always loved the culture of United Arab Emirates and their interest to have expatriates in their home country as a future way to fend off from economic despair in the event that the oil market falters. That's genius from your government officials, and hopefully there's other people thinking about what happens if oil revenue falters? What are we going to do? Because there's a lot of things get scary once the oil prices start getting wackadoodle. I was just talking to my friend about what if oil was $20 a gallon? Well, what if oil was 4 or 5 times as expensive as it is now? Okay, all kinds of economic equations don't balance out anymore. And right now, the oil is owned by governments that give it away freely. But if instead we instantaneously said, hey, you know what, oil doesn't belong to governments, it belongs to people. I actually figured out that if oil belonged to people instead of governments, we have 7 billion people. All the oil reserves the amount of money per person is about $16 million United States per person. If we were to just divide up the equity in the oil reserves per person, we would all have $16 million in U.S. currency. And I don't know what that is in your local currency, but it's enough to live extravagantly. You know, you would live a really nice lifestyle. So if you imagine some countries, the representative percentage of oil per person is higher than in other countries. You know, you have some countries where your value in how much share of oil you own in your country is higher in one country versus another, and it creates economic disparities in lifestyles. So we saw this in Texas too, right? In Texas, a big oil-rich state, and so we had a lot of oil revenue that meant we didn't have to have a state income tax when other states did have a state income tax. Just like Nevada doesn't have a state income tax because they have gambling revenue instead. And, you know, California just has a state income tax. So they just take it from the people and pretend you're better off for it, you know. But it does make a difference in your lifestyle if you live in an oil-rich geography that you can reasonably afford a nicer lifestyle at the same productivity output level. And so Texas, I think, shares a little bit with Dubai in that regard, that people have a nicer lifestyle in Texas because of the oil revenue, just like people can have a nicer lifestyle in Vegas because of the gambling revenue, assuming they don't gamble, right? As long as you don't gamble. But yeah, those are I don't know, man. It's really cool meeting people in Dubai and seeing the different lifestyles and everything. That's another cool thing. I'm gonna mute, man. I'm talking too long, man. Tell us more about yourself, SBZ.
Like what? I don't know.
I mean, this is going out to YouTube, so anything you're willing for YouTube, you're talking to YouTube, not to me. You could say, "Oh, that's enough," or you could tell us whatever. Tell us about the camels, man. Everybody wants to know about the camel races. How does that go? How about the camel race? I was talking on mute for a long time, but how about the camel races? Tell us about the camel races. How does that work?
I don't know. My brain fucked up because I hear your voice 2 times from the stream and.
Mute the stream, dude. Mute the stream. Only listen to Discord. If you're on the YouTube, just mute your YouTube stream.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. So tell us, like, the jockeys on the camel races. My understanding, they don't use people on the camels. How does that work now?
Like say the game again. So
the
my
camel
English is
races in
fucking,
Dubai. I just wanted you to
Oh,
tell
the
us about the camel races in general. Tell us about them.
like you bring the camel to the racing spot, and like if you win, you get a car or you get a golden sword or trophy or like that. You get like something good.
So I'm bringing up just like a YouTube video for everybody
Yep.
to see, kind of like an example. But this is
Yeah.
this is what it looks like, you know.
My first.
And so, you know, you got
That's
got
the
these
robot,
camels
the
going, and you don't,
camelback.
yeah, you don't have like normal jockeys. You've got cameras or whatnot. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to frame this. But yeah, I thought this was really interesting. But you see all the cars on the side, and they've got like remote controls. But yeah, tell
Saying
us.
like the camel number 1, the camel number 2, like this. You're saying the camel name and the camel place.
Yeah, man, I thought that was super cool. Just seeing that. I think part of the intention to have cameras on there instead of people is it's a little bit more of a level playing field, but it's also less weight, I believe, on the camels, so that they can run faster and perform better. And ideally, I see what's supposed to be help there too, not like carry us. I don't know how they treat these camels pretty special, like they're privileged camels. How much is a camel like this worth if you were to have a camel in a camel race? What is a camel from a camel race cost?
Like this one, it's not 20,000, 10,000.
المركز الثاني يختطف مع البداية يختطف من منبه ناصر بن حمد بن مبارك بوجود شاهين بوجود مدلل على المركز الأول حمد بن سعيد السعيدي هو اللي احتل الصدارة واللي بدل في هذه اللحظات
About 55,000.
المقدمة منبه منبه
2010.
المشاركين نبه
Spent 6.5 million on
للمتواجدين
3
في هذا الشوط ناصر
So the
بن
starting
حمد بن
price
مبارك
is about
الشهواني
$55,000. So it
اللي
starts at the
Yeah.
price
على
of a
قمة
luxury
البداية الأولى.
Cadillac, let's just say.
والمركز الأول بينما
Price starts at the price of a luxury
الثاني
Cadillac
مدلل.
and goes
حمد
up
بن سعيد
to as much
السعيدي
as
على ثاني المراكز
that was 6.5
وجهد
million pounds
واضح
to be
في انطلاقة هذا الشوط مسار
reaching
هذا
almost
الشوط
$10 million.
الكبير
So
والمؤثر
large
وصل
price range starting
الصياد
at
صياد لحمد
$50,000 US. Yeah.
بن راشد بن
Man,
حمد
that's information I
في
didn't
هذه
already know.
الانطلاقة
But
وفي
I thought
هذا
that
التحدي وفي هذا
camel for racing
المسار
would
ما يهاب
cost
على المركز
at least
الرابع
at least
سعيد بن
100,000.
راشد بن حمد
So it's about
بن غدير
might be able to get
يتواصل
one half
بانطلاقة
as much as what I
المركز
thought it might be.
الرابع وخامسا وهنا لا زال مكلف لا زال مكلف
How many camels do you have camels
بتكفيه
yourself?
مالكه ومضمره بأداء
a lot,
مميز. سعيد بن حميد
like
العويسي على
400.
المراكز
Okay.
هذه المراكز
You have 400
الخمسة
camels?
الأولى في هذه الانطلاقات وفي هذه
Yep.
التحديات وكل العيون
So do you make
تراقب الكيلومترات
income
الأخيرة
from camels?
تراقب ختام هذا الصراع على
You make a
هذه
living from
الخدمة
Make what?
Do you earn your
الفضية
money
في
from
ختام
camels?
أسبوع الصغار وتحديات الصغار آخر
like
مشاهدي فواصل
sometimes.
هذه الرموز
Yeah.
هنا
Like
A lot
يقول
of
في
camels, dude. 400 camels.
Like-
What is a camel? Your races, yours are not all race quality camels, but what does an average camel cost out of your stable of camels?
I can't really pick me from the video.
What's that?
I can't hear you from the video.
You're
The
expecting
video
we want to
playing.
be early.
Oh, the
My
YouTube.
apologies that we always give you the
Okay.
timing.
Well, let's just go ahead
Very
and end
late
it here,
because
man. I
we do
appreciate you
receive the
coming on
timings
and
very
being my
late. Sometimes
first
the races
Discord
start at
guest.
3, sometimes at 2,
And
1, or 1:30.
let's just end it here, and we'll use this
Unless
as the
there are
first
conditions
iteration
which
and
the
see how
Emir
it
is there.
goes.
So in these
And I appreciate
competitions,
you
the
coming
Emir
in
will
and
pop
talking
up
to us
at any
about
day. We don't know.
camels and
Okay,
Dubai
in
culture
the Establishers Cup
and the
and
welcoming
Sheikh
culture of
Hamed's,
Dubai people.
we hope he
And we'll just
doesn't
call it
actually,
broadcast, brother.
because
And
there will
I'll
be
still be on
really
Discord,
strong
but I'm gonna end
restrictions
YouTube.
that we won't be able to enter. Last
Alright,
year we
that's
had